Hello, third graders. Today we're going to be correcting our morning work. We're going to go page by page. We're going to start right now with week 3, day 1. So make sure that you're on the same page that I am, and how you'll do that is look up here in the corner to make sure that you're on week 3, day 1, right up here. Then also make sure your name is on it as well. Make sure you have something to correct with other than a pencil. What works best would be a pen or a colored pencil. There should be no regular pencils out while you're working on this. You just write the correct answer. If you made a mistake, you'll just write it with a pen or a colored pencil so you can see where you made your mistakes. Okay, we're going to start at the very top of the page. And we're going to start here, and we're going to go across the page, and we'll work our way down from there. So I will zoom in a little bit at a time so we can solve them together. So the very first one we're going to look at, Alexa had 15 books. Her mother gives her 7 more. How many books does Alexa have now? Well, she begins with 15. So then she is given more. The word more tells me that I need to add. So 15 plus 7. 15 plus 7 would be almost like 15 plus 5 plus 2 if I wanted to break that apart a little bit to make it easier for my head to think about. 15 plus 5 plus 2 would be 22. And 22 what? Well, a label is also important when you're doing story problems. 22 shelves? No. 22 basketballs? No. What are we talking about? Books here. So 22 books. If you forgot the label, just label it right now with your pen or colored pencil. Moving across, we have Jack. Jack has 23 baseball cards. He gave 5 away to his best friend. How many cards does Jack have left? Well, Jack starts with 23, and it says that he gives 5 away. Giving away means that it would be subtraction. So, 23, take away 5. I could count backwards on my fingers, or I could do 23 and then minus 3 to get to a friendly number, and then take 2 more away. Most of you will probably just use your fingers and count backwards. And if you do that, then you will get that's an 8, by the way. So 23 minus 5 is 18. Now don't forget the label. How many cards does Jack have left? 18, and we're talking about cards. So you should have that labeled over here. Now, as we go through these videos, you'll notice my handwriting is not exactly perfect. That's because I'm writing on an iPad with my finger. So I'm doing the very best that I can. Oopsie, made a mistake. I'm going to use my eraser tool that I have. And now we're going to go over here to the even and odd questions. I was kind of surprised how many questions I got on this today. If there's an even or an odd, think about it in partnerships. If you have partners and nobody is left out, then you have an even number. If you're making partners and there's an odd number and someone is left out, then it's odd. So 2. So I say, okay, here's 1, here's 2. So if these 2 are partners, is there anybody left out? No. So that means that 2 would be an even number. So in this blank, it should be even, E-V-E-N. All right, going on to the next one. If you have 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now let's look at partnerships. There's a group, there's a group, there's a group, uh-oh, there's a leftover. Since there's somebody that's left over without a partner, that means 7 is an odd number. somebody's going to be left out. So it's odd. Okay, next one would be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Partner here, partners here, oopsie, and then there's a leftover. If there's a leftover, it means that it's odd. O-D-D, odd. Alright, we're going to take a look at the measuring here to the nearest inch. There is the black line up above right here. It's telling you measure this line to the nearest inch, and it already gives you the ruler. So I see this black line goes to here, and here's the 3, and here's the 4. So if it's going here, is it closer to the 3 or to the 4? Well, being right on this side of this medium, our middle line here, this is the halfway line. And if it didn't get halfway, then it must be closer to this one here, which would be 3. So which one is it closer to? It's closer to the 3-inch mark. So we're going to write 3. Then down below here, there's another question just like it. It says, measure to the nearest inch. Our choices are 2 or 3. Here's the halfway mark. Did it get halfway? No, it's less than halfway. If it's less than halfway, it's going to be closer to the one below, and that would be the 2 this time. So it's closer to 2 inches. We're going to scroll back over here, and we're going to be working on expanded form, which we talked about on Monday. So the expanded form, this is the question I'm on. We have 324. So it's asking us on this equation to pull it apart. How many hundreds? Well, there's 3 of them, but total that is worth 300 in this number. This 2 in the tens place is worth 20. This 4 in the ones place is only worth 4. I saw many of you have 3 plus 2 plus 4. Think about that. Does 3 plus 2 plus 4 equal 324? No. You have to have 300 plus 20 plus 4 to get the entire number. We're going to scroll over here. Write the following in standard form. We talked on Monday again about what standard form is. Standard form is just the number written with digits. So if I have 7 hundreds, 3 tens, 4 ones, what number would that be? So 7 hundreds, 3 tens, 4 ones would be 734. Now the one below says 100, 5 tens. 100, 5 tens would be 5, 10, 15, 20. Oops, sorry, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So 5 tens is 50. That would be writing it in standard form. They give it to you when it's been expanded with 7 hundreds, 3 tens, 4 ones, and now we're putting it together to write the actual number. Okay, going down here, fill in the missing numbers. Here we are in the fill in the missing numbers. If you look at it carefully, you would be able to see that it's counting by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20. So the next one would be 25. Then it would be 30. 35 is there for us. 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. Now the numbers that they give to you when they give you these counting, fill in the missing piece, they're giving you those as clues. So use those, and as you're counting, make sure that when you get to those that it's making sense with where you are in your numbers that you're counting with. All right, we're coming over here. find the missing numbers. This time, I see 10, 20, but I also see 50, 60. I think that's counting by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Yep, it's looking like it. 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, and 160 we landed on, so we must be in the right place. Continuing on, I think we're going to go back here to the partitioning of the rectangles. This one today seemed to be very confusing for some of you. Remember that when you have columns, columns mean they're up and down, like from top to bottom. When you have rows, rows go side to side. So columns are up and down, rows are side to side. It says partition the following rectangle into 3 columns and 2 rows. What it's partition means to cut it. Like if we were going to split it, where would we split it? For 3 columns. So that means 3 columns needs to be up and down. I'm going to put a cut here, and I'm going to put a cut here. Now I say cut because I like to imagine I am actually cutting a cake or some brownies. Helps me to remember. So I'm going to cut this way, and I'm sorry that I'm not getting a very straight line. That's why I'm trying to redo here. So from top to bottom. Now I have 3 columns currently. I have 1 column right here. I have 2 columns, and I have 3 columns. Those are up and down. Next, it says I need to have rows. Those rows need to go side to side. And it says I need 2 rows of brownies. Now, it doesn't say I make 2 cuts. It says I need 2 rows. So I'm going to cut it right through here. And this gave me row 1. And this gave me row 2. So now I've accomplished the mission of what it wanted me to do. It wanted me to have 3 rows or 3 columns up and down, which I still have. I still have 1, 2, 3, which would be 1, 2, 3, and then I have 2 rows. Row 1, row 2. Moving over here to this one, it's asking about the same thing, except for it wants you to partition or to split it into 3 columns, 3 up and down, 3 rows. So we're going to start by splitting the same way that we did before. So we have 3 columns, column 1, column 2, column 3. Now we need to do rows. Rows are side to side, and it said we need 3 rows. So row 1, row 2 here in the middle, and then row 3. So we've actually got there's a row here, so 1, 2, 3. Some of you were thinking that the lines, like this purple line right here, they were asking you to draw 3 lines. That's not what they wanted. They wanted like a row here, a row in the middle, and a row on the bottom. Now we're looking at circles. These are like pizzas. Partition the first circle into halves. Half is, if you had half of the pizza, you'd take your knife and go straight down that way. You might also go the other direction. That's half. You could also, with a circle, go this direction, and that would be half. Because you can split circles in many ways. I personally like just to go that way. Now the next one says partition the second circle into fourths. Fourths means 4 slices. So right now I've got 2 slices, slice 1 and slice 2. That's not enough. I need to slice again. So I'm going to slice straight across this way. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 slices. So that's why they call it fourths. It's because it's the amount of slices in there. Okay, I'm going to go down here to the sentences and we'll go take care of the things on the right-hand side here in a minute. Circle the complete subject of the sentence. The complete subject is what is this sentence about? Usually sentences have two parts. They have the who part of the sentence and the what part of the sentence. Who is it about? What are they doing? The who part is your subject, who it's about. Your what part would be called your predicate, and that's what are they doing. So the simple subject or the complete subject that we're looking for is who is this about? My father will bake a cake for my birthday party. Is this about my birthday party? No. Is this about my cake? No. Well, who is it about? My father. Because he's the one doing all of these actions. So he's the subject of this sentence. Okay, so the next one. Is this sentence complete or a fragment? Complete means it has a who and it has a what. Who is it about? What are they doing? Or is it a fragment where it's missing something? It says wearing shoes to school. Well, who is wearing shoes to school? I think we're missing a part. We know what they're doing. They're wearing shoes to school, but we don't know who is doing that. So this is a fragment or a piece of a sentence. We don't have everything we need. Down here on the bottom, we're going to fill in some of the missing letters. There are, some of these have more than one option of what works. For example, this first one could be pot. P-O-T, sorry, that was not a very good O. Let me try again. P-O-T. It could be pet with an E, P-E-T. Could be pit, like the pit in the center of a peach pit, or you dug a pit. So it could be that. It could be pat, like you pat a dog on their head. So there's a couple options. The next one next to it, I see this one as being and, A-N-D. Does, D-O-E-S. Another, A-N-O-T-H-E-R. This last one, well. There's two L's in well, even though you only hear one. Scrolling back, large, J would be a G, even though it does sound like J. That one is a G. And then this one has a couple options. Could be must, like I must go to my friend's house because she's having a party. Or it could have been mutt, M-U-T-T, like a dog is also sometimes called a mutt. All right, we've got the next one, B and G. Could be big. It could be bug, if you have a U in there. It could be bog. What a bog is kind of a swampland. It could be beg, if you put an E in there, like a dog begs for treats. Next one, I would say, is the word even, E-V-E-N, like we talked about even and odd numbers. This last one, such, ch, that C-H, choo-choo Charlie from kindergarten, C-H. Okay, let's go up here. Jason measures 2 pieces of string. String A measures 58 centimeters. String B is 28 centimeters longer than string A. So we have 58 for string A. String B says, in order to find string B, it's got to be 28 longer than the first one. So that must mean to find B, I've got to add 28 to it in order to get the total length. 8 and 8 is 16. I made a new 10. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 1 more is 8. 86. So string A is 58 centimeters. String B is 86 centimeters. Okay, our last one for this page is down here on the bottom, and it's unscramble the words. We have some sight words here. This one was tricky, but it's until. I can't wait until lunch. This next one, S-I-D-E. I hurt my side by bumping it. Or come sit on my, come and sit next to me on my side. Okay, this next and last one for today. Feet. F-E-E-T. All right, that's it for page 1 on week 3.